Clear skies and sunshine to start March, but don't get used to it. We'll talk about what comes next in your full forecast. Non-stop local Pulse Prime starts right now.
Morgan Ashley, bringing you the content that connects our communities. You're watching Non-stop local Pulse Prime.
Well, tonight, Operation Epic Fury is entering day 3. The State Department told Americans in the Middle East to leave now. Earlier this evening, there were 2 drone attacks on a U.S. embassy in Saudi Arabia. Shelter in place has now been issued across the country for Americans that are there. Good evening. I'm Morgan Ashley. Thanks for being here for the first night of Pulse Prime. The war in the Middle East continues after the U.S. and Israeli strikes killed the supreme leader of Iran on Saturday. 6 U.S. service members have died, 18 seriously wounded. A senior official told CNN the U.S. is preparing for a, quote, major uptick of attacks in Iran in 24 hours.
This is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change, and the world is better off for it.
U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth defending the decision to strike Iran, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio says, quote, the next phase will be even more punishing on Iran. This as the NATO chief calls on European allies to support the war against Iran. In Lebanon, people are fleeing Beirut as Israel strikes in retaliation to Hezbollah missiles fired by the Lebanese militant group. And U.S. military officials confirmed that 3 American F-15s were shot down over Kuwait on Sunday in a friendly fire incident. Continuing coverage on the mass shooting in Austin, Texas now. A 3rd victim has passed away, according to police. That victim was taken off of life support. 2 other people killed. Those were college students. Investigators are looking into this as a potential act of terrorism. Well, Spokane City Council votes on ice-free zones and a ban on kratom. It comes after conversations to expand ice facilities and then rising concerns about the unregulated supplement. Non-stop locals Ainsley Anderson's here with the impacts this will have on the city of Spokane. Ainsley.
Hi, Morgan. Yeah, a lot of hot button items in council chambers tonight. The first one being the introduction of ice-free zones.
In Spokane, we stand up for each other. In Spokane, we show up for each other.
Opponents say this makes it harder for immigration and customs enforcement officers to do their job in city limits.
It's not fair for those immigrants who came here the legal way, the hoops they jumped through, the money that they spent. What an injustice.
However, supporters of the ordinance say this would promote a sense of safety on city-owned property and allow people the opportunity to take legal action if they're unlawfully detained.
I love our community, and in our community, we want our neighbors to be safe.
The ordinance passed in a 6-to-1 vote. According to Councilmember and sponsor Paul Dillon, the ordinance aims to bring more protections for immigrants and refugees to protect them from racial profiling. Now, the next topic of interest from tonight's meeting, a vote banning the sale of kratom products within the city. Speaking on this tonight, a mom whose son battled a kratom addiction.
It's near to impossible for them to get off. And it's a public safety issue on top of that.
And another who lost her son to an overdose.
We had trust in the consumer or business to know the right dosing amount. How safe is that? My son was a member of the Army Reserves, and kratom did not stop him from dying.
However, some say small businesses benefit from it and are urging regulation instead of a ban.
And if passed, this would create a scenario where the product could be banned in Spokane while being perfectly legal just a few miles away.
The ban passed in a 6-to-1 vote, Councilmember Cathcart being the opposed.
And while those anecdotal stories are heartbreaking, and I do feel a lot for those parents, family members, friends, it's also not necessarily wrapped in data that we can see and understand.
Health reports by the Mayo Clinic describe kratom as, quote, unsafe and ineffective. But users report it helps lift moods and ease withdrawal symptoms when quitting opioids. But it is said to come with its own risks of addiction, this prompting the city's ban on the product.
Thank you. That passes 6-1.
Reporting for Non-Stop Local Pulse Prime, I'm Ainsley Anderson, Non-Stop Local.
Well, there has been a second shooting at the Heatherstone Apartments. This is in Kennewick, and police say a 17-year-old boy is recovering after being shot Sunday afternoon. It comes after a separate shooting in December that killed a 16-year-old. Here is Isaiah Bernal.
It's definitely really scary. We last night saw the cops show up, heard the shooting, held the whole 9 yards. He jumped.
For Jenna Yoakum, a mother of 2 who lives just steps from where the gunshots rang out, safety is top of mind.
I'm very nervous, even like taking the kids on walks, doing stuff.
Kennewick police say they're taking action. The department has a program that works directly with apartment management to address problem tenants and crime trends.
We recently reached out to the apartment complex in that area, and we have a good relationship with the apartment complexes and their management. We have a program called CRCL where we notify the apartments of problems that have happened or cases that we've investigated so that they're aware of like problem tenants.
Police say they plan to increase patrols in the area and have detectives focus specifically on gang intelligence. Meanwhile, some residents say they're considering leaving Heatherstone.
I'm thinking about it, yes. I try not to be out at nighttime messing around, but most of all this is going on in the middle of the day. You don't know where to walk and what to do.
This marks the second shooting here since December when a 16-year-old was killed. Police made 2 murder arrests in that case and served another search warrant just last week recovering guns and drugs. Now detectives say they're determined to prevent more violence.
The Kennewick Police Department takes gang violence very seriously. We will have our major crimes detectives investigating this. They're going to spend all of their time on it until we figure out who the suspects are and find them.
For Jenna, she wants to see things change.
Hourly patrol would probably be maybe a good thing. I would say maybe checking more upon research people's backgrounds and stuff. I definitely think maybe security gates might help. You can only come into Heatherstones if you physically live here.
That was Isaiah Bernal reporting. Police are asking anyone with information about this latest shooting to contact them, or you can submit an anonymous tip online. A teenager from Oregon is safe after police found her in a Tri-Cities home. The Benton County Sheriff's Office says that deputies found the 16-year-old inside of a home February 28th. Deputies arrested a 25-year-old man on March 1st, and he's been charged with unlawful imprisonment and rape in the 3rd degree. The Sheriff's Office says this investigation is still ongoing. Well, let's transition to our forecast. Rosemary right in tonight to track that for us. And the weekend was gorgeous.
Yes,
right?
it was so
Sunshine,
lovely.
Dry.
Did you get out and enjoy it a little bit?
Yeah, I got a little breath of it. I actually was out of town this weekend, and so I came from much warmer temperatures, but it was nice to come back to some sunshine.
Yes, I'm hoping that we can hold on to it, but unfortunately it looks like we've got some wet weather on the way, Morgan. Let's start with tonight, though. It's already been quite the beautiful evening, and it's expected to continue to be calm. 8 minutes past 9 p.m., temperatures at 43 degrees for Spokane, 42 degrees for the Lake City at that time, and in the 30s along the Palouse as well as up in Chewelah. So we turn our eyes a little further southwest. We see pretty similar conditions, except Tri-Cities, Wenatchee, and Ellensburg holding strong in the 40s. What are we expecting overnight? Well, we're looking for temperatures to drop into the low 30s for Spokane, upper 30s for areas like the Tri-Cities and Yakima, and clear and calm skies, which is perfect for getting out and seeing that lunar eclipse. On our futurecast, you'll notice it doesn't last. We've got storm activity headed our way at around midweek and lasting into the tail end of the weekend for those of us who are further east. You see that when we look at our chance of precipitation over the next 7 days. Looks like we've got stormy weather ahead for our friends in Coeur d'Alene, bit calmer for the Tri-Cities and Yakima. We'll talk about it in our full forecast. Well, the Eastern Washington Eagles and Idaho Vandals ended their regular season today, and how fitting that they were facing each other. SWS's Grady Glover with us now. Grady, Eastern Washington has been on a hot streak, but both teams are trying to end the year with a win.
Yeah, I mean, not only end the year with a win, but you also get a win over your rival, and you try and carry some momentum with your team into the conference tournament next week. That'll be in Boise. It was also senior night in Cheney. The Eagles looking for their 9th consecutive win in conference, but as we start the second half, the Vandals, they'll get it over to Isaiah Brickner. He elevates, shoots the 3, and the Vandals are up by 7. They led for most of the second half, but here's JoJo Anderson, who's going to kick this one out to Alton Hamilton, the 4th. 3-ball on the way, cuts the lead to just 1 point. Then we had Hamilton back on offense. This time he takes it inside. He's going to get the bucket and the foul, makes the free throw, and it's a tie game. But the Vandals made everything in the second half. Biko Johnson drives, kicks out. Jack Payne, under a minute left. 3-ball makes it a 6-point lead. It's all but over, but the Eagles, they have a chance to tie it. Isaiah Moses is going to sidestep, pump fake, this to send the game to overtime, but it's off the mark. The Idaho Vandals, they snapped the Eagles' winning streak. They get the 85-81 win in Cheney. They also get the season sweep over the rivals, and they'll go to Boise, win the conference tournament, coming off of a huge win. That was only half of the teams playing each other. We also had the Eastern and Idaho women. They were playing in Moscow, another really good streak on the line. Idaho women have won 14 games in a row. See if they make it 15.
All right, stick around for that. Still to come here tonight at 11. A dizzying adventure in Colorado with a new glass for gondola. Closer to nature than you've ever been before. More of that video still to come.
Closer to home, we've got more to talk about and weather. When we come back, we're talking your full forecast and wet weather headed our way. That's next.
Content connecting community. You're watching The Pulse.
Oil prices are soaring tonight as action in the Middle East continues. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bradley Warren. It's nice to see you, and thank you for joining us on The Pulse. Crude oil prices jumped more than 6%, now pointing to possible higher oil prices here for us locally soon. Some of the world's biggest oil producers have now halted production with ships anchored near the Strait of Hormuz. Although not officially closed, there have been reports of attacks on oil vessels from both sides of the strait and electronic interference. This as Iran threatens to attack ships approaching the strait. Many companies are now halting operations.
The main impact is the Straits of Hormuz, through which fully 20% to 30% of the world's crude oil transits.
And right there from AAA, who says this could mean a 15 to 20 cent increase per gallon for now. You might see those changes at the pump this week. Nationally, when it comes to gas prices, it's almost $3 tonight. As for the state of Washington, it now climbs to $4.36 in Idaho. Specifically, Coeur d'Alene, those prices are now at $3. The U.S. stocks recovering slightly today as the S&P 500 was up more than 3 points, but it was a rocky day. The Dow closed at just 73 points after sliding nearly 600 points today. From the Pulse Studios, I'm Bradley Warren. Thanks for watching. We'll be back momentarily.
So this is the only chance you're going to have anywhere in the U.S. to look down beneath your feet as you glide smoothly across the gorge.
If you want that, right? Now you can experience one of Colorado's most famous landmarks from a whole new angle. The Royal Gorge Bridge and Park recently unveiled new glass floor gondolas, letting riders look beneath their feet as they glide across that canyon.
Park officials say the cabins are the first of their kind in the U.S. The journey takes you over 2,000 feet across the gorge, and you're over 1,000 feet high while you do it. The gondolas are included in park admissions, so there's no extra charge to ride, and they're handicap accessible.
This view down beneath us is almost as high as some of the tallest skyscrapers in the U.S. We get to look 1,200 feet down at the Arkansas River and these beautiful rock faces here. You can even see our Via Ferrata routes, our climbing routes down here sometimes. It's a beautiful view. You can sometimes see the train go beneath us and rafters. It's a beautiful experience.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't do the best with roller coasters, and once I saw them actually pan down to what the view was like, I was like, oh, that looks like a drop zone. I'll pass.
Yeah, no, I would like to, in theory, say I would do this for the adventure and the experience, and it's beautiful from the video, but some of us just can't handle it.
Okay, well, scary.
Spring is here on the West Coast. Take a look at this flower field in San Diego.
Carlsbad Ranch claims to have one of the biggest flower fields. It's been run by the same family for over 60 years. And just how gorgeous is that? I got to be in California to experience the super bloom in 2024.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Really, really awesome stuff.
Yeah, and something you should do in Washington if you haven't done it already, Tulip Farm on the west side. There's a full bloom and the pictures are incredible. If you've never done it before, you need to head that way.
Is that in spring?
Yes.
Well spring on its way here, right?
A little bit sooner than normal, it feels like.
Yes, we got a little bit of taste of spring, and tonight you'll actually see temperatures pretty mild as we're getting into those evening hours. 17 minutes past 9 p.m., temperatures holding strong at 38 degrees in Yakima, low 40s through the Tri-Cities, as well as for Spokane, and single-digit winds. As we look at that satellite radar, you'll see conditions were really quite calm and dry for Spokane and Kootenai counties. Pretty similar for our friends in the Tri-Cities and Yakima as well throughout today, Monday. As for what we're expecting overnight, more dry conditions for those of us in eastern Washington and North Idaho, with a chance of scattered showers along Washington's west side as we get into those early morning hours tomorrow, Tuesday. Winds during this time also look to remain quite calm for those of us in the inland northwest. We're talking gusts peaking in the single digits or teens. Northwestern Montana may see some more active winds, though, again, as we get into those early morning hours. Overnight here, we're looking for temperatures to drop to 31 degrees for Spokane, 32 degrees on tap for Coeur d'Alene, with similar lows bordering on freezing along our northern border. A bit warmer through the LC Valley at 36 degrees expected in Lewiston overnight, and 35 are expected low for Orofino. As for Moses Lake, we're looking for temperatures to drop to 32 degrees there tonight, 34 on tap for areas like Othello as well as Ritzville. As for our friends in south central Washington State, Tri-Cities, we're looking at upper 30s at 39 degrees in Kennewick, 38 in Pasco, just 37 overnight in Richland. As for Walla Walla, 40 degrees even are expected low Monday night. Highs for tomorrow pretty similar to what we saw today. 55 degrees are expected high for Spokane. Temperatures set to rise to 56 there in Coeur d'Alene, 60 degrees even through Ritzville. Tri-Cities leading the pack, 63 degrees there. Looking again at that futurecast, 0% chance of precipitation until that huge system pushes in those late night hours tomorrow, Tuesday, and into Wednesday morning. Then we have widespread chance for lowland rain and mountain snow, kind of lasting through the center of the week and into the weekend if you're in North Idaho. Just how much snow are we talking for the mountains? Well, you'll notice that things are dry further inland through Tuesday, but we start to see it pick up in terms of snow accumulation as we get later into the work week. Between now and the end of the day on Thursday, we're talking about 4 inches for areas like Lolo and Lookout Passes. But what about those daytime highs in Spokane? Are we going to get to enjoy blue skies? Well, it's looking like cloud cover rolls back in on Tuesday. Wednesday, we expect those clouds to have some moisture in store for us as temperatures return to the upper 40s. Another stint in the low 50s Saturday into Sunday. As for the Tri-Cities in Yakima, we're looking looking at chance of precipitation on Wednesday there as well. So that's your forecast, Morgan. I hope you enjoyed the sun while it was here. It's going now.
The Idaho women are trying to extend a 14-game winning streak, taking on Eastern Washington. How tonight's game
Live from the Northern Quest Sports Studio. This is SWX NonStop Local Sports.
Well, we showed you the men's highlights earlier. The Vandals, they beat Eastern Washington, their first loss since February 5th for the Eags. But there's another win streak that was put on the line tonight. That was down in Moscow. The Idaho women, the Big Sky regular season champs, they're hosting Eastern Washington for the regular season finale. First half, it was the Ella Gallatin show. Here she's going to take it straight to the rack. She's going to get the bucket and the bump. She had 22 points at halftime, but Hope Hassman had the answer for the Vandals. Check out some beautiful ball movement. Hassman gets it all alone at the top of the arc. 3-ball. The friendly shooter's roll, and it goes in. Time winding down in the first half. A loose ball is going to find its way into the hands of Courtney Grossman. Picks it up, launches, and drills the three. Eagles take a 4-point lead into the break. But the second half, the Vandal offense, they found its groove. Hassman inside. Spin. What a move. She matches her career high with 25 points, and the Idaho women finish the season 15-game winning streak. The 75-64 win over Eastern Washington. Head coach Arthur Morera knows the Big Sky tournament is next up, and playing these tough, ugly games this year has prepared them for what's coming next.
And then today it wasn't that ugly, but it wasn't looking good for us. I mean, we're down 7 in the third quarter at one point, and then we end up winning by 11. So it makes us feel pretty good of going to the conference tournament, having those 2 games to test us.
Now the Gonzaga Bulldogs, they fell 3 spots in the AP Top 25 poll today after going 1-1 last week. The win over Portland clinched the #1 seed in the WCC tournament, but the loss to St. Mary's on Saturday dropped the Zags out of the top 10. Now the Zags, they got a week off to try and reset, also get healthy before the conference tournament. They'll be the #1 overall seed. They won't play until Monday in the semifinals. Hopefully Jalen Worley will have enough time to come back from his injury, a thigh contusion. But regardless, the last 2 times the Bulldogs have lost a game this season, they then went on to win at least 6 straight, something that senior guard Adam Miller says he hopes happens again.
We light the fire. When something like this happens, kind of got to bounce back. I'm trying to grow from it as a team and individually. A lot of guys are upset. I think it'll really help us. So that's my mindset. We'll do whatever we got to do to get better, and we're going to work on that. We're going to try to get guys healthy, and the plan hasn't changed. We're going to go in the tournament with plans to win the tournament, and that's what I believe we're going to do.
So Gonzaga, they'll play Monday in the WCC tournament semifinals, but high school state playoffs, they continue this week, which means it's time for us to introduce this week's McDonald's Team of the Week.
This week's McDonald's Team of the Week is Mount Spokane Cheer, who just grabbed 2 top 3 finishes at state.
The group of girls that I cheer with are just like family, and I love each and every one of them, and they all have such fun personalities individually, and I love that.
I treat everyone like my sisters. They are honestly my everything, and I love them all very much.
It makes it all worth it when you put in that hard work and effort and all those hours, and then you see the outcome. You really get what you put into the sport.
We just want to keep getting better, and if something's not working, we all try and like work together and like figure it out so that we can hit stunts and like work in competitions to like get our goals that we really want.
Congratulations to this week's McDonald's Team of the Week, Mount Spokane Cheer.
C-A-T, 1, 2, 3, yes!
As we come on the air tonight, Operation Epic Fury and Iran strikes continue, and President Trump says this could last weeks. And then two major decisions for Spokane City Council. We bring you into those discussions they had. And then a second shooting at the Heatherstone Apartments in Kennewick. What those who live there are saying about what happened.
And we've had clear skies and sunshine to start March, but don't get used to it. We'll talk about what comes next in your full forecast. NonStop Local Pulse Prime starts right now.
Morgan Ashley, bringing you the content that connects our communities. You're watching NonStop Local Pulse Prime.